On Wednesday, January 12, 1955, Kraft Television Theater presented Serling's 72nd television script. To Rod and Carol at the time, the script seemed little different from the 71 before it, and they expected it to receive no greater reaction. Says Carol of that evening, "I remember that we had some business to do in upstate New York. We were living in Connecticut, and we got a babysitter for our daughter Jody and said, 'We just moved into Connecticut. No one will call us. Nothing will happen.' And while we were in upstate New York, the show was on. The name of the show was Patterns. 1 minute after the show went off the air, my phone started to ring," Serling said 7 years later. "It's been ringing ever since." Patterns dramatized a struggle for power involving three men: Ramsey, the ruthless president of a major corporation, superbly played by Everett Sloane; Andy Sloane, played by Ed Begley, the aging vice president Ramsey wants to pressure into resigning; and Fred Staples, played by Richard Kiley, the unwitting but basically decent young hotshot brought in to replace Andy. It was simple, direct, and tremendously powerful. The reaction to it was overwhelming. Nothing in months has excited the television industry as much as the Kraft Television Theater's production of Patterns, an original play by Rod Serling, Jack Gould wrote in the New York Times. The enthusiasm is justified. In writing, acting, and direction, Patterns will stand as one of the high points in the TV medium's evolution. For sheer power of narrative, forcefulness of characterization, and brilliant climax, Mr. Serling's work is a creative triumph that can stand on its own. Gould's reaction was typical. From coast to coast, newspaper critics hailed Serling a brilliant new find. On February 9, 1955, a little under a month after the original broadcast, Patterns was again performed live by popular demand. This was unprecedented. On March 17, 1956, Patterns won for Serling the first of what would eventually be 6 Emmys. And on March 27, 1956, a little over a year after the initial airing, the movie version of Patterns was released. It was directed by Fielder Cook, who had directed the television show, and starred Everett Sloane, Ed Begley, and, in the Kiley role, Van Heflin. Thanks to Patterns, Serling was now a hot property. In 2 weeks after its initial broadcast, he received 23 firm offers for television writing assignments, 3 motion picture offers, 14 requests for interviews from major newspapers and magazines, 2 offers of lunch from Broadway producers, and 2 offers to discuss novels with publishers. Accordingly, Serling took a lot of these people up on their offers. "I was the hungry kid left all alone in the candy store. Man, I just grabbed." That season alone, he had 20 of his plays telecast, earning him $80,000. Most of these scripts were ones he had written in college and just afterward in Cincinnati for a local television program called The Storm. "I found I could sell everything I had, and I did," Serling said later. "I realized now I was wrong. A lot of them should have stayed in the trunk. I have 3 bad shows on the air in 1 2-week period. Not since the British raided Cologne had so many bombs landed in such a small space in such a short time." The movie offers were taken up too. The first script that Serling worked on was 20th Century Fox's Between Heaven and Hell, which was eventually done by 6 other writers. Serling: "I turned in a script that would conservatively have run for 9 hours on the screen. I think it was about 500 pages long. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. They just said, here's $1,500 a week, and so I just wrote and wrote. I laid claim to the fact that there were some wonderful moments in it, but in 9 hours of film, my God, there has to be a couple of wonderful moments if a guy just blows his nose. Serling wrote a handful of screenplays during this period, which were never made, including an adaptation of John Christopher's science fiction novel No Blade of Grass. Other than Patterns, only one Serling script was produced, a Western called Saddle the Wind, of which he later said, I gave better dialogue to the horses than the actors. This is not to say everything Serling wrote during this period was bad. His screenplay for Patterns, in which he expanded his original script from a running time of 53 minutes to 84 minutes, was skillful and intense. Then, too, there was The Rack, an hour-long drama on the United States Steel Hour, which was an honest and powerful investigation into the after-effects of mental torture on American POWs in Korea.